Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about web scraping and how you can do web scraping in Python. But before starting, we should understand what is a web scraping. So web scraping is basically the process of fetching the raw elements from an HTML page or probably from a web page. You may encounter this situation in scenarios where you have a UI but you do not have the access to the APIs exposed by that UI, so you cannot fetch that data programmatically, and in that case you need to apply web scraping to fetch the data. So this is very common in industry, and these days also this is very common to scrap websites where we do not have the API exposed, or where we do not want to call that API to the API gateway. This is mostly used in investment trading. Okay. Let's begin the web scraping process. So for our web scraping project, we'll try to scrap this simple web page that has been designed by the that has been particularly designed for this project. Okay. Let's see. Let's write our first code, which will be the easiest one for a beginner to scrap the website. Okay, so before beginning with the project, let's store that URL in a variable, okay, as a string that we'll be using later. Okay, then for the beginners one, like the first project, we can use the URL lib module. Okay, so we'll first try to import the URL lib modules request. From here we'll import the URL open method. What the URL method will do, it will help you in opening any web page. Okay, so there are two things, guys. If that web page is protected by some kind of authentication, you have to pass on authentication parameters. But since this website is not secured by any authentication, we can directly call that. Okay. uh, let's try to use that URL open. So as you can see, we need to pass on the URL here. Here is the URL, and we need to save this in some kind of variable, right? Let's call it a response. Okay, we're storing it into the URL. Okay. um, Now let's try to print the type of this object. So if you don't know how Python works, I have a separate playlist which is called Python for beginners. You can use that playlist to understand the basic features of Python. Okay, so I'll provide that link in my description section. Okay, so let's try to run this code simply. Yep. So as you can see, this is the return type. So it is an HTTP response object which is returned. So as you can see, this is a class object that cannot be read directly. So we have to use its properties to read it. So how we can read that? Um, it will have a property. Let's call it read method. And what read method will do, read method will return its the bytes which are here. Okay, and try to decode it. Let's try to run this again. Here you can see the entire HTML of that is printed. So let me revisit that again, guys. So you'll have a URL object. You'll use the URL open method from the URL lib package to open that URL. Then you will go ahead and use the read. This read method will return you the byte elements of that response. Then you can decode it to form it to a string. Okay, this way you can get the entire um, the HTML page. Now you can use basically various regex pattern to filter out some parameters if you want. Okay, let's see how we can. Let's try to take out this title. Okay, let's try to take out this title from this and see how we can take it, right? So since this is a string, we'll store it again to the response. So now our response contains this entire HTML in string format. Now what we'll do, we'll try to find the indexes of this and this element. Okay, so let's call it start response dot find. What we have to find, we have to find the title tag. Okay, so let's find the title, and similarly let's call the end response dot find. What we need to find, we have to find the end of the title tag. Okay, so in this way what we get, we'll have the start index, let's call it a start index, and we have an end index. Okay, now what we need to do, we'll have a start index, we need to have an index. Now we have to cut it down and find the title. Okay, so let's try to trim it. Okay, how to trim it, we'll have a response that we will to trim from start index to end index. Okay, and let's hit it. Okay. Here you can see the Aphrodite is here. Okay, now there's one more thing here, that the why title is here, because the start index gives the starting point. So this, so where my cursor is, this will be the start index. So if we use start index plus 5 6 7, it should give us the correct value title. Here you can see this is the title. So this is the simple web scraping tutorial, guys. So in my next lecture I'm going to talk about how you can do this using advanced method, because these days the websites are so complex that will be really hard if we go ahead with this approach. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. Do like and subscribe my channel. Thank you, and don't forget to watch the second episode of this. Okay, bye bye.